if I make a mistake here, I could end up falling off a 50-meter cliff.
Like, how is freeride skiing different than the stuff that most people would do, like they go to the resort?
The funny thing about that is that freeride skiing is that. Like, it doesn't have any boundaries. Like, freeride skiing is skiing with your mates. Freeride skiing is skiing with your parents. Freeride skiing is skiing and competitively, but it's all freeride.
Now, how did you get into that? Like, how did you start the competition aspect of it?
I used to like do racing as a kid and kind of didn't really fit into that, like didn't really, like it was quite, families with a lot of money. We're from a smaller town, different vibes here. And also, yeah, I just wasn't like a big fan of like the culture that was behind like the racing as much. And so I just went out skiing with my mates. I stopped racing and just went out skiing. But I'm still a really competitive person. So I found a way to make what I was doing competitive by going and competing.
Is it viewed differently in the skiing competitive world? Is it kind of viewed as like these are the best of the best, or is it like, oh, these people?
If you're in the like ski competitive world, and we're talking like the park guys and the races and stuff, we're kind of like the hippy dippy brothers that smoke weed and like go out skiing and like have fun with our mates. But it's not like that. It's I think there's a lot more creativity to be had in freeride because it's not all about throwing the most hectic spin you can. It's about style. It's about being able to actually ski really well. It's about like combining combining like freestyle and alpine and putting it all together on a gnarly face.
So if how does the competition work?
Usually visual inspection. So on the Freeride World Tour, it's visual inspection only. So you don't get to ski the face before you do it, before you compete on it. So they have a whole day where you sit at the bottom of the face looking at it with binoculars and you are choosing your line and basically just trying to visualize yourself actually skiing that line. And then on the day, you hike up to the top of the face and you get told when to go and you go.
Oh, you got to walk up there?
More often than not, yeah.
Like, how far are we usually talking? That seems like a lot of work.
I walk really slow so that I'm warmed up, but I'm not tired. I don't want to make my legs sore or tire them out. So I walk super slow, and I think my longest was maybe an hour and a half, maybe, to the top.
Maybe this is just me not being familiar with it, but is that intimidating in the sense that I'm going to ski this mountain that I've never skied before?
Oh, you've been like nervous, so like nervous to the pit of your stomach for like days up until this point. So like walking up, more often than not, got jelly legs and like trying to visualize your line, but also trying not to puke at the same time.
I would imagine though, but when you visualize the line on it, right? Is it usually what you thought it would be, or as you're going down, you're like, oh, that's not what I thought that was going to be like?
More often than not, you're just like, yeah, you're making decisions on the fly. So you've got to really make sure you've done a really, really good inspection so that you hopefully don't end up with too many of those situations where you're like, holy crap, this looks different. But I've definitely been in that situation where something has looked incredibly different skiing it than it has looked like from the bottom. Because you can't, in some of the, like in those qualifiers, that I don't know whether they're doing it now, but they weren't doing drone photos. They'll give you photos of the face, but they wouldn't do like on top of drone photos. So you might see something from the bottom and it looks like a cliff, but from the top, there might be a wall on the other side of that. And you think you can take off it, but you can't.
So when you ski it, like, are there times that you might stop?
Oh.
Because like, oh, you get there and you're like, oh, wait a minute, I can't go that way. I thought I could, but now I can't.
No. So usually you want that run to be as fluid as possible. So you don't want to be stopping. So hopefully your inspection has been really, really top notch and you're not coming across anything that you're freaked out by or anything that like stops you in your tracks. But when I was learning to do visual inspection in my first competition, I ended up like on top of this lump that I was like, I don't know where I am. I think I've taken the wrong entrance into whatever I was trying to hit. And I made the decision to stop and ski off to the side of it. And I'm really glad I did, because if I had like centered off the end of this little ridge that I was on top of, I probably would have gone 30 foot to like dead flat. And I probably would have kneed myself in the face really hard at a bare minimum. Could have ended up a lot worse. So it's like, you have to make these decisions on the fly and hope that you're making the right decision. So if you're not sure about something, generally you're like, maybe I won't send myself off that because it could end real badly.
If you were to put a percentage on it, in terms of like, okay, what percentage of times does this run that I go on work out exactly like I thought it was going to be? What percentage of times like, oh, wow, this is nothing like I thought it was going to be?
For me, exactly how I thought it was going to, maybe 50%. The rest, you're like, oh, that's different. Oh, I need to air a little bit, like, oh, I need to like pre-ollie this more than I thought. Well, there's always something that comes up where you're just doing it on the fly, or you're like, oh, there's heavy debris. You're just figuring it out.
So then are there in the competition, right? Are there some people that like, they're a great skier, but they can't evaluate the run for anything?
You definitely need to be good at both. You need to be good at thinking on the fly. And you could be an amazing, amazing skier, but unless you have the trust in yourself to be like, no, I know that this is safe. I know that I have like done a good inspection and that this goes, that doesn't go, like if something goes wrong, you can like make up a decision on the fly to do something else. Because if you've done a good enough inspection, if you miss something, like if you land something you're going too quickly and you blow by another feature, you have to be able to put something else together, and that is part of it as well. Like you need to be able to make those decisions on the fly. That's really important.
Will you ever have skiers that maybe are professional skiers in other disciplines and then they try to come over and they're like, oh, I can't do that?
Oh yeah, there's actually like a bit of a running joke within the park community, and I'm pretty sure a few people have said this. They're like, oh, Freeride, it doesn't look that hard. It looks pretty easy. I'll just go on the Freeride tour and I'll go and like, excuse my language, but I'll go and fuck shit up and I'm going to go and do amazingly and crush it. And then a lot of those athletes get out there and then they're like, oh, just kidding. This is really hard. So a lot, some people think that it's super easy. You're looking at somebody ski that face, but what you forget is like that person's skiing it for the first time. They've only looked at it through some binoculars. There's changing snow conditions. It's not, it's all different variables, all changing all the time. And the snow can change from 1 meter over there to 1 meter over there. It can be completely different. So that's all things that you have to be able to manage as a skier. And a more well-rounded skier, somebody who, say, doesn't just ride a certain type of skiing, is going to do better because they can deal with all of those different changing variables.
So hold your feet to the fire. Would you say that this type of skier is the best skier?
I would say yes, that they're the best all-round skiers, because you could throw any face at a freeride skier and they'd figure out how to get down it. Whereas somebody who purely skis park, there are a lot of park skiers who actually are not very like solid technical skiers, and racers who also don't spend a lot of time like jumping off stuff. So it's like an amalgamation of like all of those things.
Everything comes together, right? That's kind of the whole thing. So when you look at kind of the mountains that you guys are skiing, are these generally pretty dangerous mountains to ski? Like, are these hard mountains to ski, or like, no, that's not that difficult?
If I was not, there are some of those faces that if I was not competing on them, I could quite happily ski down them. Like for myself, I could find a safe way down them very easily, that I wouldn't be scared. But because you're putting in a competition setting and there is a requirement to jump off things, that's when things get difficult and scary and pretty hard. But like the Bec de Ross, that is the final space for the Freeride World Tour, is a scary face to stand up the top of. It's not a face that you stand up there and just go, oh, I could just easily get down this. It's like, okay, if I make a mistake, even just skiing down it on an everyday skiing with your mates, if I make a mistake here, I could end up falling off a 50-meter cliff. So I need to make sure that I am on top of my skiing here and very solid.
Now does this kind of translate into other areas?
A lot of freeride, yeah, it definitely does, for sure. A lot of freeride athletes, as they kind of transition out of competing, there are a lot of athletes that then go towards more like mountaineering, ski mountaineering, and doing like first ascents and things like that. So like it's definitely like having those skills to get down those faces is incredibly important, because some of the faces that mountaineers are skiing are pretty messed up, like very, very scary stuff. and then managing like ice falls and rock falls and avalanche conditions and all kinds of stuff.
Are you ready for some harder/listener submitted questions?
Yeah.
What is the last time you fell getting off of a ski lift?
Probably when I was on a snowboard, to be honest. I think the closest I've come to messing up getting off the lift, though, in the last kind of 5 years or so, I fell asleep on the chairlift at work when I was ski patrolling at Treble Cone. I don't know if I should be admitting this, but yeah, I put my head down and had the bar down and fell asleep. And I woke up when my feet hit the ground at the top. And so I had to like panic, get the bar off, get the bar up, and then like jumped off while it was in the air, just about to go around the ball wheel. But no, as a ski patroller, you get jugged. You get essentially beers if you do stupid stuff at work. So that would have got me jugged. So I jumped off the lift and was fine, but it was pretty close.
Did anybody see it?
Only the lifty, thank God.
What's your favorite place to ski?
It depends on the snow conditions and what I am looking for, but spring skiing, 100% Ruapehu, like where I grew up, is the best. I can't show you right now because the curtain's there, but behind me is the mountain, and they have the best spring skiing I've ever had. Treble Cone is like in New Zealand is incredible for like all round good New Zealand skiing. Like powder, it's got some gnarly stuff, it's got fun stuff, it's really, really cool. And overseas, I think for just general gnarliness where you get off the lift and it's just like insane terrain is Verbier in Switzerland. So that was pretty mind-blowing going there and being like, my first run of the season, I have to go above a no-fall zone. So it was, my friend was taking me along traverse, and she's like, you can't fall here. If you fall, you die. I was like, oh, great, cool, yeah, I'm really ready for this. And I think for powder, Canada in general is pretty sick.
What's the holy grail of this? Like, what's the thing that everybody's kind of like, oh, I want to do that. That's the thing.
Oh, Alaska. I think
there was no hesitation about that, right?
Yeah, no, I think everybody wants to ski Alaska lines at some stage because, you see it in the ski movies. Those guys are skiing the most incredible faces. And yeah, I think that's everybody like, well, there's a little bit of you wants to go to Alaska and ski big lines in Alaska.
Is that just because of like the quality of the snow? It hasn't been done before. They're just that steeper and deeper, or like, what is it about it?
I think it's the quality of the snow and the faces. So there's a lot of spines there. They're things that they don't always set up in different areas in the world. It's something that like Alaska is known for, is their spine skiing. And that's what everybody like aspires to be able to do that, because they need a certain amount of snow for that to happen.
The spine, what's the spine?
Spines are essentially like, how do I describe them? If you look at a mountain face, it kind of looks like curtains. Yeah. You look at a crazy steep face, and the snow like sloughs down by itself. It's usually quite steep, and the snow will like, the snow will like kind of self-manage itself a lot of the time. I mean, it will avalanche at times as well, but like it's quite steep. It looks like curtains, and it's just like the most incredible skiing. Like powder, steep, sunshine, big wide open, like big faces. It's just what people dream of.
Now, why is the snow condition so important?
The snow is super important, especially up on those really steep faces, because if you got up there and you came across just sheet ice and you're on a face like that, good luck staying up there. You're going to be sliding to the bottom really, really quickly, and it's not going to be good. Those faces are like, I can't even think how many hundreds of meters. It'd be like 1,500, 2,000 foot faces, maybe more. I don't really, would that be about right? Yeah, easily. Like some of those faces are like 500 meters vert easily. And imagine if you fell at the top, you would slide /tomahawk /tumble all the way to the bottom, and you'd be really messed up. So the snow conditions are super important so that it doesn't happen.
Powder is better. Why?
Powder, it actually slows you down quite a lot. powder is slower to ski through than like skiing on sheet ice. So, and you can control your turns. You're able to make proper turns. You're able to slow down and bleed speed. You have control. You have more control essentially.
What is your favorite skiing lingo? What is your least favorite skiing lingo?
Oh, I do like hucking your meat or chucking your carcass. Those are pretty good.
Chucking your carcass is good, especially with the accent.
If you're talking about somebody and they're like, man, they freaking hucked their meat today, that means they just like sent it off everything and just chucked themselves off stuff, which is pretty fun. Like it can also like bring like the mental image of somebody just chucking themselves off something, not really giving a crap about the landing and just maybe just blowing up and sometimes riding out, but more often than not really skiing out of it.
So is it a compliment or an insult, or a little bit of both?
It's kind of somewhere in between, yeah.
It depends on the outcome, I guess.
Yeah, or huck and pray. Huck and pray is pretty good. Like
yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah, and I do a lot of that. So,
what would you say is kind of your general style? Like, do you feel like you're more cautious than other people, or are you kind of like, I'm just gonna go for it and see what happens?
It depends on the day. Some days you're really like feeling it and you're like, I'm just going to freaking go for it, see what happens. And you just send it. But then there are other times when you're just like feeling incredibly cautious or not super solid on your skis, or there's like times when you're just not quite feeling it as much. And that's when you're way more cautious. But I think a lot of it's like the vibe that you have with your group, like the group that you're skiing with. One of my most like memorable progression sessions where I've like felt like I learned a lot all in the space of a couple of hours was when I was up at the summit of Treble Cone and it was like a fresh power morning. We had exclusive access to the summit before everybody else and we were filming, and I watched Zoe. I don't know if you know Zoe Sadowski. She's she's like at the top of female snowboarding right now. She's an absolute badass Kiwi girl. She chucked a backflip off one of the rocks, and I was like, "Is today the day I try?" And I was like, "Screw it, I'm gonna do it." And I did it, landed it, and was like, "Fuck yeah! All right, let's go again." And went off the bigger one. There was like a bigger diving board, and I was like, "I'm just gonna freaking go for it! Yeah, let's do it!" And yeah, landed my backflip off there first time, and I was like, "This is sick!" Like. And it's all about the vibe and like the people cheering you on and the hype, I feel like is a huge, huge part of it.
Is it a thing though where like that can bite you in the ass?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, I got hyped up by one of the friends up the mountain at Cardi's this season. And right at the end of the season, I was kind of having a more chill day and I was like, oh, it's softening up nicely, but I don't know if I'm feeling trying the cork 7 again today. Because I've been trying to learn cork 7s this season, and my first attempt I hit my head really hard, and then my second attempts I had a really good day, and then this would have been like the third day trying, and I was like, no, I think I'm just going to chill. And then Buddy came up and was like, oh, you're going to try cork 7? It's so good today, you should definitely do it. And I was like, no, I'm just chilling. And then I got on the chairlift and was like hyping myself up and was like, oh fuck, I'm going to try it again. And then I tore the grade 2, tore the ligament, tore the MCL on my knee, and did grade 1 PCL and tibial plateau bone bruising. So sometimes you get that hype up and sometimes it doesn't pay off.
Can you pinpoint the difference? Like, why today do I feel good and I'm skiing good, and then why tomorrow am I just like, it's just not there for me? A
lot of it's conditions for me. It's like having, in New Zealand especially, there's only a select number of days. You're not going to get a power day every day. And a power day is when you like try stuff and you don't try and push yourself and you learn new things. But, we don't get that every day. So when we do get those powder days, a lot of the time we're really, really hyped up in New Zealand. We're like, yo, let's do it. But and then there's those days when it's not as good, or you haven't gone up with the intention of trying something, because it is like quite a lot of pressure to put that on yourself, to be like, I'm going to try something today that really scares me. So like when you haven't mentally prepared for that, sometimes it's not, it's not worth doing it. When I was going up for the cork 7, I was planning that like 2 days in advance.
How do you know the difference between like, okay, maybe I need to push myself a little bit, Like, I need to push myself. I need to get out of the comfort zone versus like, oh, I'm not ready for this. Like, I shouldn't do this.
That is the golden question right there. It's preparation. It's sometimes you don't know and sometimes you do know, and that's when you like get help from other people. When you're like, okay, you've seen me trying to do, let's say, my cork sevens this season. They're like, okay, you've seen me doing my cork sevens on the trampoline. What do you think? And some people will be like, yep, you've 100% got it. You should just chuck it, go for it. And then other people will be like, actually, I think you can control them better. I think we can work on your cork sevens on the trampoline more so that when you do go and try and do it on skis, you don't end up upside down and in a really unsafe place. Like, you need to know where you are. So taking all of that feedback and then trying to find a middle ground to figure out if you think that you're at that level and ready to try it and whether you're hyped up enough to do that. So that's kind of what I was doing this season, was trying to figure out that line.
Do you think that you generally push yourself more, or do you hold yourself back more?
Ooh, I think lately I've been holding myself back a little bit more than I want. And I think that's come from, circle back around to that tomahawk. I think some of that, I think having some really, really gnarly, really big crashes definitely makes you reevaluate the decisions you're making and whether you feel comfortable and feel safe doing things. So that's kind of that's my current mental space, is trying to figure out, is trying to get back into that really hyped up, really excited, really push myself vibe more often, because I'm finding I'm stepping back a little bit more often than I was.
So this is one of your winning runs.
Yeah.
So where I'll pause it really quick. So like, where is this? What are you kind of thinking coming into this?
Yeah, so coming into this, I was incredibly nervous. The snow conditions that day were, we were wanting them to soften. So it was kind of, there hadn't been very much snow in Europe, and we were essentially running like pretty crusty, kind of all over the place snow, especially if you were kind of going into the more sunny faces. They were going to be starting out pretty icy. So the face that where I'd chosen to have my line was, way more out in the sunshine. So I really wanted that to be getting the sun on it. And with the 2-run format that day, it meant that our first run was going to be pretty damn icy. So the girls were the first to drop that day, I believe, the female skiers. And I can't remember what number I dropped in the group, whether I dropped in first or not. But dropping into that face was pretty hectic.
So, I mean, to me, like, looking at it, like, oh, okay, that didn't look that bad, right? But like, is this much different in real life than it appears even on this?
Yeah, right here I'm thinking, fuck, I better make this turn. Excuse my language, but I better make this turn, because this is right at the beginning. Because if you go directly, if you stop it there, just to my right there is a cliff called Eagle, I think it is. If I fell off the side there, it would have been game over. So I had to make it onto this traverse track. Those first 2 turns were incredibly important. Now,
will everybody take a little bit of a different line?
Yep. Yeah, a lot of people choose different lines. Some people choose really similar lines. This right here, I'm going into the Heusel Cliff. And this was opened up, I think, by, is it Stefan Heusel? He's a Austrian freeride skier. I think his name's Stefan. Yeah, anyways, real sick skier. Super icy right there.
How fast are you going through here?
I wouldn't actually know the speed, but all I know is I'm trying to hang on as much as possible because the snow was super icy. Right here, I get a little bit backseat. You can see there I just about lose it. My hand comes across the front of me, and there's a lot of like little chunks of avy debris, especially right here, skiing out of this bit here. There's little chunks of avy debris and shit everywhere. So that there was pretty scary.
It doesn't look like there's that much snow.
No, you can see old tracks in it. If you look carefully, there's spots where you can see other people's old tracks. The best snow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the best snow. This is really crusty where I'm skiing here. So here I was thinking, just stay on your feet. My legs were really tired at this point, and I was like, I just need to stay on my feet. I need to be careful because it's really crusty snow. And then off this, I definitely did not go fast enough. Kind of landed on that bush. But out here, so the bottom of your run, you're just like, I just have to make it to the bottom. You can't crash now. You can't crash now. You just have to get to the bottom. Oh my God, my legs hurt. My legs hurt. My legs hurt. This is all that's going through my head. It's like, I just need to get to the gates. I just need to get to the gates. My legs are so sore.
Oh, it's way up there, right? Like this is up above anything else.
Yeah, so we hiked up to this one. This was probably about a 50-minute hike, an hour's hike for me, being slow. Sure. So just here out of the starting gate, it's really, really sharky underneath the snow. So you're trying to be light on your feet. So I was just thinking, light on my feet, light on my feet. I had no time to prepare for that run.
How far down is that first, like from where here to like where you're going to land? How far down would you say that is?
You just ski through it. That's actually not a cliff.
Oh, it's not? It's so different. It looks so different when you see it.
Yeah, it's sort of a cliff, but you can just ski. Oh, I guess I did pop over it. It's just little. So here I'm like, oh, where's my entrance? Oh, yep, there it is. Geez, that was quick. That came up really fast. Okay, go slow, avoid the rocks. And then turn off here, right here. Yep. Landed, was like, sweet. Okay, one turn. Oh, shit. I'm too low. Just made it to the cliff. I'm going to crash here because I just landed on a tree. I was in the air going, there's no way I'm going to make that. Somehow skied through the tree. And in here I started telling myself, I was like, keep going. Don't slow down. Be fluid. Be like Ari Tricome. Don't stop. And hit that cliff. And then at the bottom I was just like, yeah. But as you come into that shade line, it instantly turns to flat light.
Yeah. I didn't realize that was that steep. When they zoom out, you can really see it. Like, all right, I'm watching it. It's like, that looks steep. And then they zoom out. Like, whoa.
It's honestly not as steep, I think, as what it looks. It would be better better in the GoPro. But yeah, just here as you hit the shade line, I couldn't see anything because it was dead flat. It was like flat light. It's super early in the morning, just after sunrise. So I skied into it being like, I really hope there's nothing that I hit here to blow up my run at the bottom, but I can't see. So the funny thing about that winning run in February was because it was a 2-run day. I went and my first run was the winning run, and my second run was that heinous tomahawk.
Oh God.
Yeah.
But you don't know, like you couldn't just back out and be like, no, I think I got this. I'm not going to do this second one.
I could have. There's one athlete that did, Andrew Pollard. He came down and was like, he finished his first run. He's like, nope, that's the best I can ski that face. I'm not going and doing it again. And so he decided to stay down the bottom, whereas the rest of us decided to go back for round 2. And to be honest, like you do one run and you're pretty cooked. So then you go in for round 2. It's pretty much over. Yeah, like you go in for round 2 and it needs to be reasonably good conditions. It's pretty hectic.
So where is this?
That's in Canada.
Man, that looks steep.
That was steep. That was my first time skiing like mini spines. And then tomahawk.
Oh, what happened? I mean, how?
I have a habit of landing too far forward. I'm not very used to landing in powder as much because like we don't really have as much in New Zealand. So I'm used to landing a little bit more 4-point on the front, and I just did that there. Landed too far forward, straight over the bars.
Now, how did you try to stop yourself when that happens? Like, is there something you can do to like, okay, I got to get this under control, or are you just hope and pray?
You hope and pray. If you're tomahawking, there's nothing you can do. You just have to let it play out. Did
you get hurt
in this one? Nah, this one was sweet.
Now, looking back on it, would you say that this is the kind of thing like, oh, you know what? Looking back on it, maybe this was too much for me.
No, I think it was definitely pushing my boundaries. It was learning. It was learning for sure. I think it was a good face to learn on. On my first run, I actually posted up in one spot and stopped for a little bit. And I did land that cliff once. On that time I didn't though. But I did ski it and land it. I just skied it slower and didn't make it look as good.
That's in the Canadian Rockies?
Yeah, so that's up near Golden. And we're just filming. We're doing some filming last season for the the head movie, and for Blank as well. So it was kind of like dual footage. That was just like a really fun cruisy line down the face. It was really pretty and nice in the sunshine.
This looks like really good conditions.
Yeah, this was actually crashed at the end there. That was super, super nice snow. We got really lucky with this trip. So Golden hadn't had a lot of snow. That was actually the same trip in Golden. So this is some of the more like pillow skiing stuff. But yeah, that like the whole season they hadn't had a lot of snow. There was really sketchy avy conditions. They had lots and lots of faceting, which was super dangerous. And this was at the end of the, like near the end of the season when things had started to like mellow out in the snowpack, and we got like this really lucky 10 centimeters of snow like each day. We'd ski in the morning, and then in the afternoon it would like evening it would snow like 10 15 centimeters, and then so after a few days like these pillows were on and it was so fun.
That's pretty much all the questions I got. Is there anything that you think we missed, or what's kind of coming up next for you? How can people get a hold of you?
So for the next little bit, I'm heading back over to Canada to hopefully do some more filming. Previously I've been working with Blank Collective, and we've created a couple ski movies, so go check those out if you get the chance. And also the Head Freeskiing Unified movie is pretty sick this year. Head released their first team movie this year, so it's super, super sick. So hopefully just heading back over to Canada, doing some more filming. I'll jump back into the qualifier competitions at the end of the season and just be generally getting after it. But and if you want to check anything out, just check out like the Freeride World Tours website and pages, the Freeride World Qualifiers, and my personal Instagram is Jess Ski.